watch it right here before I go ahead and show my starting clips because it has a weird habit. Well, there's a delay on when I actually start going live. So like...
As it should.
There it goes. So we're live now, so I can show my video.
My name is Donatello. Some turtles, like me, were born to make things. And some turtles, like my brother Raphael, were born to break things. Take the sewer slider. Raph does. I designed this puppy for maximum speed and maneuverability, whether hugging the
What
tunnels
could
or just
possibly
hovering
go
above.
wrong?
But put Raph behind the wheel and it'd smash up Derby. Every time. I think I ought to start charging for parts and labor.
Whoa! Hey, come on, Donnie! It was an accident! I said it!
That was another one of the early clips I remember when that show was first premiering. Anyway, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Game Reserve. My name is Jagger Newman, and I'm Warren these parts. And joining me tonight is my old buddy, the master of the TKO, Tony. How you doing, Tony? It's been a while.
Good.
And bet you can't guess what we're looking at tonight. Yeah, we're taking a look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, specifically the first game based on the 2003 series. So what do you know about Ninja Turtles, Tony? Specifically the 2003 series?
So, I remember watching it on TV by 4Kids, when 4Kids was still a thing. And I very much enjoyed that series. It came on, I think, this Saturday lineup, and I remember catching it, and I know we just had a small, we had a discussion prior. I know that there's like 7 seasons now, or they ran for 7 seasons. And the season that I remember the most was To the Future, the Fast Forward series.
Fast Forward.
Yeah, when they went to the future, that was nutty. But
yeah, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as you know, was the franchise of the late 80s and early 90s. So like that was basically that generation's Power Rangers, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever have you. It was just the biggest thing in the world. Animated series, comic books, video games, toys. It was just enormous.
yeah,
However, towards the end of its run, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started to fall out of favor. The main show that sort of stole its thunder initially was Power Rangers, which became the next big thing after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's actually kind of funny that ended up being the case because Saban, the team behind Power Rangers, would actually do a Ninja Turtles series, Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, and they even did a crossover with that during Power Rangers in Space, but
Really?
yeah, that didn't help the series in any capacity. So Ninja Turtles sort of fell by the wayside until around 2001, 2002, when 4Kids brought the rights to it. Now, 4Kids at the time was riding high because they introduced the world to Pokemon,
You're absolutely right,
which again was the biggest thing in the late 90s,
Yeah.
like holy crap.
yeah.
And then they followed it up with Yu-Gi-Oh, which was arguably just as big at the time.
Playing the
So
cards all the time at recess, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so they decided they were going to take a stab at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they did some things different from the famous 80s cartoon. For starters, rather than go for sort of the goofy, campy stuff that the 80s cartoon did, the animated series was more in line with the original comic book, so it was darker, it was grittier, it was meaner, and Lord and behold, it became just as big as it says. So while I wouldn't say it was the powerhouse franchise that the 80s cartoon was, it was still a very popular show, and it would introduce Ninja Turtles to a whole new generation. Like, this was your Ninja Turtles growing up,
absolutely.
and though I grew up with VHS tapes of the 80s cartoon, this was the Turtles series that was airing when I was a kid, so it holds a special place in my heart. So when I first started doing the stream, one of the earlier videos I did was of, the Cowabunga collection. I originally just intended to do the NES game, as I told you, but that was back when I went for 2 hours, and the NES game was just frustrating me. I wanted to play something else, So I just played the other games on the Cowabunga Collection. So I essentially covered the majority of the games that were based on the classic series. So I figured, why don't we start digging into the ones based on the 2003 series? And I know you watched that series too. I know you like the martial arts and stuff like that. You like the fighting games, just to beat 'em up. So I thought, why don't we have TKO on this one? It is a multiplayer game anyway, so I think I've ranted enough about this. So why don't we go ahead and get started here?
Yeah, let's dive in. I'm looking forward to it.
As to how we are going to be playing this game, I have the GameCube version, and let me give you a lesson for if you ever get into retro consoles. For this generation of gaming, if I need to turn my music off. If for like PlayStation 2, GameCube era, if it's multi-platform, always go for the GameCube version. Always go for the Xbox version. The PlayStation 2 version, it's always going to be cheaper, but it's always going to be the worst version of the game.
Really?
PS2 was actually the weakest console of its generation. Ain't that funny?
That is funny. Because PlayStation had pretty good hits, like Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so we gotta reach over here, get this thing going. And I need to pull the batteries out because I forgot to turn off this controller. Why does this always happen when I play GameCube games? It seems I really need to stockpile AA batteries.
This was made by Konami.
Oh yeah, they still had the rights to the series at the time.
Okay.
It opens with the intro. Why do I get the sense that I'm going to have to cut a lot of this down because of copyright protection? Paramount, like with the videos I've done, have always been very particular about what I'm allowed to use. Like that initial Turtle video I did, it was initially my most popular video on the channel, and it was also the first one to get copyright claim too. Thankfully there wasn't much, I could easily trim it down, but I've also learned about the dispute system, and considering that, you know, like, this is all over YouTube, and it's just the intro, it's connected to the game, and I'm talking over it right now, that's why I haven't stopped talking. It's so it can be used under fair use.
So much nostalgia on this just built into it. It is very, very reminiscent of the show. And obviously, that was a straight cut from the show, but yeah.
Yeah, and that sort of goes for this title screen too. I think the logo is great. I love how it's a little bit sharper. It's cute how they got the turtles peeking out of the manhole there. And the background is just great too. So I think that's a good title. And I like the background music too.
Yeah!
Not a bad menu too. So there is a versus mode here where, you know, two players can fight each other. We're going to be doing that at the end of the stream. So if you win, you get to choose what we play next. So we're going to go into story mode. We're going to do playable characters. Okay, so now we pick our turtles. I go first. Actually, I think you go first.
I could use a good workout.
Is that your favorite turtle? I'm gonna pick Raphael because he's my favorite turtle. He's got that cool Brooklyn accent. He's mad, he's badass. And I feel like the side would be most compatible with my boxing, so yeah, that's my turtle.
Man, this is the first time I've seen this game. And this is all like early to mid 2000s written all over it. Like just the modeling, the way the game looks, like it is so reminiscent of it. And, like it reminds me of like the Spider-Man game. I don't remember, not Spider-Man 2.
No, you're thinking of Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah, when it was on the GameCube. Yeah, It has all that, like all the signs of it, and just like the colors, the way
Remember,
the animation is.
to be a true ninja,
You're watching a
you
show,
must
but
become
then like the
one
actual
with the
gameplay
shadows.
and the model, like the
Darkness
models
gives the
are very
ninja
good
power,
at the time.
while
It
light
looks very
reveals the
nostalgic.
ninja's presence.
Yeah, and once again, now they're actually
Now,
showing clips
You
from the
extinguish this
animates.
flame
Like,
without revealing
I don't know if you
yourself.
can show this because you might get copyrighted.
yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Too noisy, Donatello.
I might actually need to
Too clumsy,
turn it down a little
Michelangelo.
bit. It doesn't look like we're coming in too clear. Oh yeah, definitely.
Poor choice, Raphael. Well done, Leonardo.
See how that sounds.
Your path in life will not be an easy one.
Speak, Tony.
Outside world will not be a friendly
yeah.
place for you.
How's that work? Is that working a little
The
better?
surface dwellers would never understand. To survive,
See how that
you must
sounds.
master these skills I teach you. Ninjutsu powers
See, like,
must
it's
stay
lagging.
Yeah.
in secrecy.
Speak, Tony.
You must become Kage, shadow warriors, and you must never be discovered by the outside
Speak
world.
up.
Your microphone's off.
Oh.
I didn't even notice that.
We might check this before. It was on before. I don't know what happened, but
Shit happens. This happens more times than I care to admit, honestly.
I think we got it. I don't think we got the sound working again. This is just a straight rip off the first one.
The microphone's not staying on for some reason. Not this crap again.
is it just a battery thing, or is it how I have it clipped?
I'm sure it's just a battery thing. With the microphone,
Okay.
making sure it's still coming through.
Looks like it cut off again.
Just leave it. You're just gonna have to talk into the microphone there.
Okay. That's fine.
I really need to figure out why the battery life on that is so terrible. Alright, let's actually get into this gameplay here.
Yeah, let's actually play the game.
Whatever they were, they
Guys, we've got the Master Splinter. Can you hit Donatello? Anyway, Chelsea.
It's funny that it seems as though they have so much of the voice acting apparently separate from the music in the episodes.
Leonardo, whatever those mechanical menaces are, they
And we were talking about this earlier as we were watching the show. All the different voice actors who are connected to the series because of 4Kids. We recognize them from
We'll meet you there, Sensei.
other
Yeah, other IPs, other things, that other shows that they've worked on.
Oh, that sucks. Alright, so the first thing that we always talk about are the controls, and controls honestly feel a little stiff to me. Movement feels a little weird since you can only move in 8 directions. But attacking feels alright. You got a basic strike. I mean, if you press the B button, you have a more powerful attack, light and heavy attack. Shoulder button, I think you got like a throw attack. And if you pull the L button, you do a quick dart forward, which I guess is used for dodging. So it's not the deepest system, and that's sort of the problem with this game. But it works fine for what the game sets out to be.
Maybe I'm just getting older. I know we're in the sewer, but it is a little dark.
It might also be the capture software too, you never know.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh,
Now,
very much. Yeah.
we're going topside.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, we're rated, because every game needed to have a rating system in those days. I do like the graphics in this game.
Yeah, it's
It
pretty
actually
solid.
does look a lot like the show.
Yes.
And now we got purple dragons, degens to beat the craps out of. Nope.
Oh.
That's when you want to use your heavy attack when you're crowded like that, so you can make yourself a little more move.
Coming at you! Coming at you!
I will say I do feel like the fight, kind of like the fight, like kind of wonkiness, I guess.
Like, one thing I'm noticing is that with the movements, like, if you go to change direction, sometimes it'll get confused. I don't know if it's the control I'm using or if there's just an input issue,
Well,
but it doesn't feel 100% smooth. It's not terrible, I've played worse, but
I will say it does feel weird, just like maybe it's been a long time, but just like the camera angle is kind of a little wonky in this game, you know?
yeah, it's trying to be dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Aye. Come here, you. Go me lock.
Shell shock! Anyone for stick bomb? I have the stick. You be the ball.
That's actually a good line for Donatello.
I will say the camera, and because of just how the way the kind of the geometry lays out, it is a little weird. 'Cause, like right there was a good example. I kind of like weirdly got stuck, you know?
Yeah, there is some kind of input delay, but you also gotta remember this is sort of a product of its time. This wasn't something that probably had a lot of money thrown at it. It's probably just, let's find a developer who's willing to work for cheap, and let's crap out a licensed game as quickly as we can. Though with Turtles, there is a pedigree to some degree due to the Turtles' history with video games.
Yeah.
Particularly with the 80s arcade game. Which is probably why they immediately went for a beat 'em up here. Because that just makes sense for the series. Okay, now Donatello, you're starting to overstay your welcome there. And I can't get a certain distance away from you. I was butt against the invisible wall there. I think the Turtles do have specific strengths and weaknesses too.
I'm noticing that too, because like just simply because Donatello has the bow staff, he's a much larger kind of like area of effect. Just being able to just kind of
Mind that barrel, mind that barrel. That's an exploding barrel. So, to my understanding, the balancing is Leonardo. He's the balanced one, doesn't have any strengths, but doesn't really have any weaknesses either. Donatello has the longest range, but he's not very fast, not very strong. Raphael is, of course, the strongest, but he's got the worst range, and he's not terribly fast.
Hell yeah.
And then you got Michelangelo, who is the fastest, but doesn't have much range and isn't terribly strong.
Okay,
We are-
off the screen, getting bopped by villains.
That was BS right
Yeah.
there. And the camera right now, it doesn't know who to follow right now, does it?
Okay.
But I mean, it is fun to beat the crap out of people in this game. It's at least got that going for it.
Yeah, I definitely gotta say this. Because right there, just now, like since we're having to kind of stick relatively close together, I kind of got off screen and I think I got kicked. I just got whacked, man.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me how in God of War you would sometimes get sucker punched off screen. The original God of War, I mean. I do kind of wish, instead of them trying to get all fancy with the camera angles, they would have just kept it simple. Or maybe even did a just a straight 2D game. But they probably wouldn't have done that for the time, because this was still around that time when people thought that 2D games were old and passé. You know, the kind of people who would say that Street Fighter 3 Third Strike looks ugly. Fucking what?
That's that. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, and some
Well,
opinions are just wrong. I'm okay with that.
it was just one of those times when 3D was seen as the big innovation in gaming, and 2D was just seen as too old school.
That's debatable. Like, I can understand it, but like.
Well, obviously they were wrong.
I mean, like, for example.
Wait, did I just die?
Oh.
I did die.
Because I will say this.
What will you say?
Because, like, for example, like, that is no longer the case, right? There's some phenomenal modern 2D games.
Oh yeah.
Like 2D side scroll, like Cuphead. Cuphead's a phenomenal game.
And even the recent TMNT game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, that is a phenomenal 2D beat 'em up.
Oh, I didn't know they had a new game.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay.
Recommend it.
I don't know, check it
Probably
out.
cover that at some point. Oh, we got enemies over here. There's a decent amount of enemy variety in this game too. You got thugs, you got Mousers. When you go to fight Nano, you got robots you gotta deal with too. And there is some strategy to it as well.
Definitely you want to try to be as close to each other as possible without stretching the camera, because that's
Yeah,
something I'm noticing.
it does seem like you need some strategy when you're playing in two-player.
Yeah, just a little bit of just slight, some coordination.
You know what the single hardest co-op game of all time is, though, right?
Battletoads.
Battletoads. It's funny that we mentioned that while we're playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, isn't it? Hey, get this thing. You need the health. And then you just waste it, and I send that guy flying.
Just need to get bops. So rough.
Well, what do you expect? You're trying to fight these guys with a stick. There's actually an episode of the 2012 series that addresses that. Just Donatello getting frustrated that he's trying to fight advanced robots, alien robots with a stick. Get that pizza.
Hey, I don't need it if I don't get five. If I
Get that pizza.
I got 12 meals. Great.
Yeah, nothing's gonna revive a turtle better than pizza.
I never understood where that came from exactly.
Well,
Is it just kind of like them being in New York and that's kind of just a joke?
well,
New York
they're
people are
also
best?
they have Italian names.
Sure. They're named after the Renaissance masters. Sure. I'll give you. But like, it just kind of.
To be honest, I don't know why they sell it on pizza as the turtle's favorite food, but it's just become a time-honored trademark of the character. So in this next level, you would typically fight. Well, you would fight Casey Jones. But I've already played a little bit of this to get an idea of it for the showcase.
Okay.
So we're not going to see that, but you're going to have to fight Casey Jones because that's who I'm going to pick for the multiplayer. You can actually unlock quite a few characters for the multiplayer mode. So you got all 4 of the turtles, but you can also unlock Casey Jones, Splinter, Shredder, I think Hun, And the really cool one, you can actually unlock the Matayoshi himself. So yeah, that's some pretty cool side content.
That's kind of cool.
And I am getting really annoyed with the weird joystick input because it's making it hard to be precise.
Yeah, because I think it's just part of the like the era of like trying to get like multi-dimensional kind of figured out. Because I'm feeling it too. It is.
Yeah, they were still trying to figure that out around this time as well. Like, it just baffles the mind that it took them so long to figure out that the best way to use 2 analog sticks is to have one control movement while the other controls the camera. Like, why was that so hard for developers to wrap their head around?
I just think it's not something that they thought of.
Like, it took people forever to figure out the idea of camera controls in general.
This does feel. I mean, it feels very arcadey, very like kind of like your
it's old school.
Old school button mashing.
I actually did rent this game once when I was a wee lad.
Ooh,
and I do remember having fun with it, playing with my little brother. Obviously, it wasn't good enough for me and my brothers to own, because, you know, we never did. Like, I bought this a couple weeks ago.
I mean, it's entertaining. It has its entertainment value for what it's worth. They're nostalgic.
Like, as I said to you earlier tonight while we were watching the 2003 series in preparation for this, I feel like this is just a perfect example of a rental game.
Yeah.
It's a game that isn't terribly good, but has just enough to it to where it would be fun to rent for a weekend, just so you can have some friends over, have some pizza, gather around the TV, and just have some fun beating the hell out of some D-Gens.
No, I agree.
And also, let's be real, compared to some other licensed games, this is far from terrible.
No, I agree. This is not that bad. This is not bad. This is for a product of its time. It is, it's pretty enjoyable right now. I'm liking it. It's simple. You don't really have to know much. You don't really have to know much about the controls. It does, again.
It's easy to pick up and
yeah,
play.
very easy. I agree. Alright, hang on. Let me back up. Come to you.
I was trying to launch that barrel at these guys. Instead, I launched them into it.
We got some robot monitors.
In the 2012 series, evidently Mouser is an anagram for something. Though I can't for the life of me remember what it was. You just know Baxter came up with a name, but then tried really hard to come up with an anagram for it. It's kind of like how someone lists off what the anagram for shield is, and then someone asks you what the anagram means, and someone will just say, it just sounds to me like someone really wanted to spell shield.
Some more. To beat up over here.
One of my favorites organizations with the cool acronym is Shush from the DuckTales and Dark Queen Duck continuity. Do you know what the anagram means?
No, I don't.
Neither do I. The organization is so secret that nobody knows what the anagram stands for.
I mean, that's one way to make a secret organization.
They're finally getting that Darkwing Duck reboot off the ground too, which I'm really excited for, because I have wanted that ever since the character appeared in the rebooted DuckTales series. I remember watching the first episode he appeared in for the first time and just having a geekgasm of epic proportions. You can ask MLG Panda about that, she bore witness to that. I wonder if Steffi is watching right now. Given I haven't heard anything from her, and we've obviously had some equipment issues. I was hoping she would be watching to let me know if something is wrong. Remind me again, you've met Steffi, right?
Yeah, I have. I think it was when we were playing.
Oh yeah, Double Dash.
Yeah.
We kicked her in Cal's butt, didn't we? The Road Warrior and the Street Fighter. We kicked her in Cal's butt, didn't we? And now we're up on the rooftops.
Oh.
That was almost too easy.
So since we were kind of just playing through like the first couple of episodes,
I guess
I,
the punks in this
I
town
think
are
the game covers essentially the first season.
oh,
Yeah, Raph?
They do combine certain episodes together, but they mostly pick episodes with specific villains. So like after this one, you actually fight Nano.
okay.
I thought be ready.
Wait, there was a line from Donatello I wanted to hear. Basically, it was Donatello saying, I thought we were the only ninjas in this town. Which, given that it's New York, that's kind of a silly thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
With
Should be enough. Yeah.
with how integrated the myths and legends of ninja and ninjutsu have become ingrained in popular American culture, surely there are a bunch of wannabe ninjas running around in New York. Watch it. Oh! That's my bad.
No, you're good. I will say this might be a little easier in the alleyway because it's limited how much the left and right side scrolling is, you know, we're like basically a long hallway. So this might be a little.
Hit the X button to jump.
Got it.
I should have mentioned that earlier. That is one thing that I wish they did have, because something else that has sort of become associated with the Turtles, how they get around the city, is via parkour. Assuming they're not driving around in, you know, their van or skating around in sewers.
Yeah.
So I think there should be some platforming involved too, which I'm glad isn't the case here, because this jump here was not intended for platforming.
Especially if, like, again, just kind of like the way the camera functions in this. I don't think this would be a very good platformer, for sure.
There is the only Ninja Turtles game I can think of off the top of my head that incorporates some platforming is the game based off the TMNT movie, as in the film TMNT. And the platforming of that was sort of Prince of Persia in nature. And I thought that was a really good fit for the Turtles. That's another one I'm looking forward to revisiting, but I got at least 2 more games in this series to cover before I get to that. They made a whole trilogy of Ninja Turtles for the 2003 series. Check the boxes, see if there's health. You're almost out of juice there.
That'll be fine. That'll be good.
Oh yeah, I forgot that we can throw shuriken by
Did I
pushing the
hit
Y.
those?
That was my.
I was like, did I just hit you with a shuriken?
It's funny that the shuriken do so much damage because
Oh, I died.
just push the start button, the red button. It's like a lot of media has depicted the shuriken as a kind of like a throwing knife weapon for ninja, but that wasn't really what their purpose was, because you throw that at a samurai, it's just going to bounce right off the armor.
Yep.
The purpose of the shuriken, at least from what I've read, is that you would throw it at an unarmored enemy, and the idea was to create the illusion of a invisible swordsman. So you throw it at their arm, and you know, people will think there's an invisible swordsman taking swipes at you.
Get your health back. There's plenty of boxes.
Yeah. Ooh, a burger. But burgers aren't Ninja Turtles, that's Street Sharks. I've actually got a couple of Street Sharks on my shelf there. You see Ripster and Jab. I'll show you later.
Probably not from this angle.
So we were talking about Battletoads earlier.
Yeah.
That's a very clear Ninja Turtles ripoff. And now I'm bringing up Street Sharks. That's probably the most famous Ninja Turtles ripoff. There's also Extreme Dinosaurs.
I don't know if they ever had a game, but Mutant Mouse from Mars?
Biker Mice from Mars, and they did have a game.
Oh my god. Because I remember seeing that as a kid, and the first thought I had was like, this just seems like a Turtles ripoff.
That's exactly what it was. And you realize that show you saw as a kid was actually the second iteration.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Didn't think, I'm surprised they, because again, I remember...
And what was even weirder about that, it was the second iteration, but it was still actually a continuation of the cartoon from the 90s as well. So it's sort of the opposite of what they did for the Turtles.
Because I remember it coming out, I want to say either towards the end, maybe towards the end of this series, or either when...
It was around the time when Fast Forward was a thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe when they were showing Season 5, the Lost Episodes.
Yeah.
But that was towards the end of 4Kids' run of dominance, you know, before everything fell apart, and really before the end of Saturday morning cartoons, which we don't really have anymore.
No,
because
we're in the age of streaming, buddy.
Yep, unfortunately.
But I still try to make it a Saturday cartoon thing.
Well, it even still kind of happens these days, because now with how streaming is, streaming services want to keep viewers retained.
Yeah,
I think the
retention?
word.
Yeah,
We got enemies back this way. See the white dots down there.
Yeah.
And,
There's something over here I'm gonna grab. For speed.
makes you faster.
Alright, let's go.
What was I saying? What?
Cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, they want to retain their viewers, so instead of releasing a series all at once like they did back when Netflix was first
Yes.
becoming relevant,
So,
they've started staggering the releases. So like Reacher, for example, they'll release the first 3 episodes as a premiere, but then after that, they release new episodes every Thursday.
yeah, they did that with Invincible. I don't know if you watched Invincible.
I've been meaning to watch Invincible.
It's pretty good. I like it. It's very entertaining.
It probably-
It's very violent.
It probably doesn't help that it's on the same streaming service that Reacher is on. I've just been obsessed with Jack Reacher as of late. Like, I started reading the books, and I hate to read.
Well,
I got a pile of them there in the corner.
Okay, I think for sure, just the way the movement is and how the controls are, this is definitely messing. Like the sloped angle is definitely messing with it.
It just feels like I go here and then I want to do a 180. I can feel it wanting to send me in a different direction for some reason.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, where are you, little? Wait, the white dot is this way.
Might have been the guy off the other screen. This guy.
For ninjas, these guys aren't terribly persistent, are they?
I mean, they're disappearing into like smoke, so if anything, they feel kind of like the shadow. What do they call?
The ShadowCon?
Yeah, the ShadowCon from Jackie Chan Adventures. Yeah. And when we were watching the show earlier, I made that kind of connection with Jackie Chan. That's just how, just the feel and the animation of the show, and just kind of how the action kind of flows, feels very reminiscent of that era of shows, those cartoons, you know.
Like I said, I think there was some crossover with the staff there. And like that animation team was very active back in those days. They also did the animation for the Batman, if you've ever seen that. It's the exact same animation team as a Jackie Chan adventure. And 1 minute we're fighting the Foot, and I think in the next level we're going after Baxter Stockman. Baxter Stockman, definitely one of my favorite Ninja Turtles villains, apart from honestly the Shredder isn't even my favorite.
Really?
Who is my favorite Ninja Turtles villain? That is actually a really good question. Honestly, it probably would be Baxter Stockman, and how he is in the 2003 series, because the more common way of depicting Baxter Stockman is to have him mutate into a fly monster.
Really?
But I prefer it when he's fighting the turtles with monster machines. I just feel like that's more original.
No, I think that has the more feel to him. Oh, watch for the saw.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, I'm starting to feel the limitations of like the way the camera is, because like if you're fighting on one side of the screen, I'm fighting on the other, right? And it's kind of like pulling.
Yeah,
And so like
we can only get a certain distance away from each other.
For sure.
It's definitely better like how it was in the old days where, you know, you had to move screen by screen so you wouldn't get too far away from your partner. Or partners. That, you know what, that's something else we haven't mentioned here. This is a Ninja Turtles game. Why is it only 2-player? Like, that should have been one of the first things they did. Should have said, hey, this is a Ninja Turtles game, we need to be able to play with 4 players, all 4 players at once. And what the hell are we fighting here? Is this like a
Giant T-Rex.
it looks like the Truckosaurus Rex, if you've ever seen that.
Oh, it's beating us up pretty good.
Try to go to the side, because it'll get you from behind like that.
Oh my god. Getting bullied.
Ah, tornado! It's doing the little kid attack. It is funny that we are so effectively destroying a machine with primitive ninja weapons.
Blasted.
Come on! Oh!
I'm back.
Wait, I don't want to be Mikey, I want to be Raph. I don't remember this in the episode that we're adapting to you. I know at the end of Season 1, Baxter Stockman comes at both the Turtles and the Shredder in some kind of giant robot. And learning from his previous mistakes where the Turtles would slice pieces off his robots, he made sure that every arm had its own power source.
I'm glad to see you
So
too, my son.
the arms could operate independently of each other, but then Donatello's like, wait, so it's self-powered? Picks up the arm and he can still use the cannon that's attached to it, so it sort of blew up in his face.
First, I wish to take you all home.
Every arm had its own
We got no home. Those robots trashed our
Yeah,
pad.
this is straight cut from the episode.
Oh man.
I think I have found a solution.
I just know I'm gonna have to
Follow me.
I'm gonna have to cut this out when I go to edit this video down, because I guarantee Paramount's gonna have a thing or two to say about this. This is something else I've always found funny about the Ninja Turtles. Isn't it strange that they make the idea of living in the sewers seem so appealing?
Weirdly, yes. Yeah.
Like, it makes you wonder, are there really chambers in the New York City sewer system that are this ornate and look like they could actually make for appealing living quarters? Like,
Maybe? I mean,
like it really is a maze down there.
given how old the city of New York is and the history of New York, with all the, you know, illegal activities and things during the Prohibition era, maybe.
That's actually a valid point.
It's a strong possibility.
That is a
honestly.
very valid point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a little bit of time to... Oh, we have a training section here. So I think you're gonna have to take the wheel for this.
Oh, I hope it's not like. The Batman training in the Arkham games. We have to fly a certain path. Or
Nah, it's nothing like that. You just gotta break open the boxes and find a certain amount of scrolls. So you're gonna jump and use the attack button to break these things open.
Oh god.
See?
Okay. Yep. This is like. Oh man.
I sense a practice session in our future.
Shut up, Leo. Come on, Tony, you can do it.
Work is. How do you? Okay. Now it just feels. Yeah, the controls feel kind of backwards now.
Way to go, Shelter Brains.
The turtles are trolling you.
I know. I'm struggling here. So I'm jumping, but I can't.
You gotta jump and hit the A button. There you go. Some of the boxes explode. Hey, look, there's April and Casey. You found one.
Oh, okay.
Get it now?
Yes, kind of. So it's not like. So it's not as freeform like it was where we were kind of running around hitting. It's like kind of like an awkward like command where like it's not like you jump and attack. You kind of stand up next to it, and definitely.
It probably is a lot easier with Donatello though, because with Raphael, rather than strike downwards.
Also, because the controls are getting real wonky here. Oh, I don't know. Oh no, we don't.
Come on, Tony.
I'm trying. I'm struggling. Yeah, because I'm noticing it. It's not like you're trying to time an attack. You're just doing a sequence.
Yeah, essentially.
You have to
And
be,
like
ready.
you can even chain certain attacks together. Like if you push the A button 2 times and then hit the B button, you'll sort of go from your light attack into a heavy attack, which is useful for when you got a bunch of enemies on you.
Oh, we did it.
You did it.
Oh my god, I was struggling. That was hard.
Hey, you still did it though.
Oh man, that is part of that too. Like for some weird reason, like we were talking how the controller kind of wants to pull that it wants to pull you in a direction. I was feeling that. So definitely, yeah, the geometry is messing with the camera for sure.
I don't think it's the geometry. I just think there's a glitch with the input, or it might just be the controls we're using. We'll never know. I unfortunately gave my good controls to Autumn and Manny. I gave them a modified GameCube as a wedding present.
Okay, that's nice.
You've met Autumn and Manny, right?
Yes, I remember them.
Yeah, they're married now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, now there's footage of me wearing a suit because I was a groomman. Me in a suit without my beloved hat.
They didn't let you have the hat.
I'm a little nervous about these robberies. The jewelry store that was robbed is right
That's
on my
fine.
block.
I remember this episode series. You remember Nano, right?
No, I don't.
The collection of nanobots that could take stuff apart and put back together as like robots.
No. I don't. Again, like I said, what I remember the most for sure was the Fast Forward series, where at least the seasons, Fast Forward season, when they went to the future, and I remember when they came back to the sewer.
Back to the sewer.
Yeah.
Of course, with your face, I can't tell if you're smiling
This
or
thing
what.
here.
That's Nano.
Come on, kid, what's taking this so long? What are you doing with those?
Basically, it's a collection of nanobots that can disassemble machines and put it back together. And for some reason, it personifies as a little kid. And it escapes from its production facility, and it ends up hanging out with a con artist here. And then Nano can do this. So imagine a little kid who is suddenly a giant robot.
Yeah. And it doesn't know any better.
Nope. It's honestly kind of a disturbing concept.
It is.
Downstairs.
And once again, I'm going to get copyright strikes so hard with this. It's a good thing we got so much gameplay footage. We're coming up on the final 10 minutes, so we probably got time for one more level, and then we should probably do our multiplayer round.
Okay.
Now with these things, see when they fall apart like that, you need to get away from them because they will explode and hurt you.
I see.
There's actually some strategy in taking advantage of that. So like, you take it down, get out of dodge. If there's a group of enemies around it, it'll do damage to the enemies.
Kind of like just how, kind of just what just happened right now. Because we just have one out.
Look, look. I didn't get away.
That's right.
Yeah, you're using that.
There's a lunge. Yeah, kind of like the yeah. Yep.
Hey, look, more degens. Beat the craps out of them. It's weird that the purple dragons are picking a fight with us here. Like, they weren't in the Nano episode. Out of the way.
I'm definitely feeling like really weird or bad as it relates now. For sure. It wasn't feeling so bad in the beginning, but it's definitely feeling. I'm definitely feeling it now.
Yeah, I think the more you play this game, you start to realize its faults, especially in how long it is too. Like, I remember playing this by myself earlier in the week, and it's like, it just got exhausting at some point. And look at that, Nano also made Mousers.
Terrible.
Because why not? I warned you about them explosions. Did not mean to do that. I apologize.
That was a lot of explosions, man.
Hey, you can never have too many explosions.
I mean, you can in the. When it's not a Michael Bay movie.
That's a fair point. Come to think of it, there were a lot of explosions in the Wait a minute, I haven't seen the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. What am I thinking?
Neither have I.
And I never intend to, and do you know why?
Why?
Because right before the film came out, at a press conference, someone asked Michael Bay if he thought the film would do well, despite the fact that fans had been vocally against it since the start. And Michael Bay said, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, people are going to go see it anyway. And because of that, it essentially said to me that he was admitting that he didn't care about making a good Turtles movie. So I made the conscious choice just to never see his Turtles movies.
That's fair. So they ended up making 2 more.
Nah, they just made 1. So they made 1, and then they made Out of the Shadows. So there were only 2 movies in that series. And recently they did Mutant Mayhem, which was an animated movie.
What is that?
And while the movie itself isn't very good, the animation is so cool, dude.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's like almost a 3D animated Classic Chupo. It's like a 3D version of the Rugrats cartoon. I'll send you a clip later.
Okay. I gotta check that out.
Coming at you.
I think it was made by a lot of the same team that did Invincible. So you'd think the writing would be a lot better, but they sort of missed the point of the Ninja Turtles, morally speaking. The whole idea of the film is that they're trying to find acceptance by becoming heroes, taking down a major supervillain. Which is all kinds of wrong, because with the Turtles, the whole reason they're so heroic is that they engage in heroic activity knowing full well they can never be acknowledged for it.
Be careful,
That's why the
guys.
Turtles are so endearing as superheroes.
Yeah.
They have to basically fight evil from the shadows and accept that we're never going to get thanked for this.
Yeah.
Alright, we have 5 minutes left on the stream, so I think it's time to go mano-y-mano. What do you say?
Sure. We'll give it a shot. Let's give it a shot.
And I just want to play as Casey Jones.
Okay. I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna switch to a different turtle.
Who you're gonna be?
Leonardo.
Yeah, I feel like he would own Casey Jones in this series. All the turtles would own Casey Jones in this series. He's a dunce.
Yes, but
He gets a hot girl though.
yes, he does.
Casey Jones. So there's Splinter, there's Hun.
Let's do it!
Maybe it's just the controller. Maybe no.
Well, I've got mine under the table, so
I don't know if it's the controller or maybe I'm just not like good. Because it got better. Like halfway through when I held it up a little bit more. Maybe it's just not reaching this connector like the wireless did. But it'll be fine.
Hey. Oh, it's pulling me back towards.
Right! Slice and dice!
To shoot it.
On this!
Come on.
We were doing so good.
No, you don't.
I'm getting bullied.
Almost got you. Ugh. It's going right down to the wire.
Oh my god.
How about best 2 out of 3?
Sure.
Let's go to a different stage. I feel like with that one, you're naturally getting pulled to the back.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna be Casey though, because it's just too cool to be playing as Casey Jones.
Be ready for anything.
Fight in the subway, just like in the Daredevil movie. You remember that?
You talking about the Ben Affleck movie?
Yes. Look. Wait, I can hit you from down there?
Yeah,
That seems a
yeah.
little unfair.
Slice and dice!
I'm getting bodied.
Yeah, usually you kick my ass at fighting games. It's a little strange. Then again, this isn't a typical fighting game, is it? It's like a half-assed version of Power Stone.
I think you just have slightly more reach, so you're hitting me before I can hit you.
Well, that's 2 out of 3.
Dang.
Looks like you don't
Looks
get.
like you're off the hook.
Yeah, but you know, I appreciate you coming to play to me, and I
course.
know this isn't the best game. Tekken wasn't really much, and this wasn't really much either. So what game did you want me to play if you had one? I will add it to the lineup for a later date.
So we kind of talked about it a little before.
Well, we already talked about it, but they weren't here for that.
Oh yeah. So a game that I've picked up recently that I've really been thoroughly enjoying is Monster Hunter Wild. So you can track down the first iteration of it.
I may have to settle for what was first released in America because that hasn't always been an American thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll add Monster Hunter to the list. I know my buddy Alden's been wanting me to try those too. Yeah. But anyway, the 2003 version of Ninja Turtles. What did you think, Tony?
It's as nostalgic as the day I remember seeing it. It is a production. It is a creation of its own time and era, and it still has not lost that luster. So
Yeah, I feel like that's where you get most of the enjoyment out of this game here. Like, this isn't something like, the 80s arcade game where it really is a landmark in the genre.
Yeah.
It is just something that came out back in the day to tie in with a popular TV show at the time. And they had just enough effort put into it to where it would make for a fun weekend rental. Like how we're playing it.
For sure.
Just on a Saturday night, two buds, getting some pizza, getting some, well, when we're kids it would be soda, but for adults it'd be beer. But, and then just playing it for a bit, and then you put it down, and then you never play it again. So yeah, not a terrible game, but average.
Yes.
I think average is a good word
It's
for it.
like it checks the boxes. It scratches the itch. It's very simple, kind of like a double dragon side-scrolling beat 'em up, right? You know.
Exactly.
And it's shelled in. With the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle coating. And that's it.
Yeah.
So, enjoyable.
Thank you for joining me tonight,
course.
Tony.
Thank you for
It was a
having me.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed tonight's content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I do these videos every Saturday at 8 o'clock, and what I do is I take a game, play from start, well, don't play from start to finish, play for about an hour and just talk about the design and history of it. Really enjoy that stuff, and I just like talking about it. Enjoy talking about it with friends too, which is why I like having you, Steffi, Autumn, all those people on from time to time. And if what we don't do though is we don't play games from start to finish, because the purpose of the Game Reserve is to encourage other people to play the games I play, because I feel like you lose something if you watch other people play it on YouTube. But no disrespect to anyone who chooses to consume video games that manner, because not everyone can afford to play video games as much as we do. That being said, if there is anything you would like us to cover in this format, please leave it in the comments. If it's something I think is worth looking into, I'll be sure to check it out. But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Hope to see you next week. Have a good work week, and I'll see you later.
See ya.
Need to figure out which tab will actually end the stream. About what I expected.
Yeah.